The news summary for this Thursday, 22nd of May. Good evening. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court has dismissed a request from Mukesh Valabji's lawyer to admit into evidence a letter allegedly signed by former President Albert René. According to the letter, President René had granted Mr. Valabji permission to maintain an armory at his Mont Blanc residence in November 2003. The Chief Justice explained his decision in a detailed 60-page ruling which considered testimony from multiple witnesses, both supporting the defense and the prosecution, as well as arguments presented by both sides. In a related court matter involving the Valabji couple, the Chief Justice is expected to rule tomorrow on whether Laura Valabji will be granted bail. Her lawyer has submitted the request on humanitarian grounds, citing the need for Laura Valabji to travel to Singapore to care for their daughter, who is reportedly ill and undergoing medical treatment without any family or friends available to assist her. The prosecution opposes the request, arguing that there is a continued risk that Laura may abscond or interfere with witnesses. They also pointed out that no fixed trial date has been set, raising concerns that the case could be indefinitely delayed. One Voice, the Association for Victims of the December 7, 2023 explosion at the CCCL quarry at Petit Paris, has announced that it has ended all negotiations with the government of Seychelles, represented by Minister Anthony Derjac, and the CCCL, represented by Marlon Orr.
One Voice, the Association for Victims of the December 7, 2023 explosion at the CCCL quarry at Petit Paris, has announced that it has ended all negotiations with the government of Seychelles, represented by Minister Anthony Derjac, and the CCCL, represented by Marlon Orr. The association's executive committee stated in a press release that it would now pursue all legal means to obtain justice and compensation for the victims of the explosion. The association reportedly took the decision at a meeting held on May 11 last Sunday. SBC has contacted the chairman and vice chairman of One Voice to find the reasons for this decision. However, the association informed the SBC that it would provide further details on its decision at a press conference that it would hold shortly with its lawyers. SBC has also called Minister Derjac's office to get his reaction, but his office says he is on an overseas mission. It should be noted that the One Voice Association has more than 500 registered members. Its main objective is to make the voices and the interests of the victims of the December 7, 2023 explosion at the CCCL heard.
In its weekly meeting, the Council of Ministers made several decisions relating to biodiversity. They include more responsibilities for the Seychelles Islands Foundation. They are also to develop a new comprehensive plan for the management of solid waste.
The Cabinet approved updates to the Seychelles Island Foundation law to expand its role in conservation, biosecurity, and research. The Cabinet also supported Seychelles' plan to bid for hosting the 69th UN Tourism Regional Commission for Africa meeting and a related tourism workforce conference in 2026. Cabinet also approved the solid waste management policy for 2025 to 2030. The policy aims to shift Seychelles towards a more sustainable and circular waste system.
Several stakeholders participated in a roadshow at Communion Hall in Victoria today to highlight their efforts in protecting Seychelles' biodiversity. The roadshow featured exhibitions showcasing various biodiversity conservation initiatives. The event commemorated the International Biodiversity Day, which is observed globally on May the 22nd. The Minister for Agriculture, Climate Change and Environment, Flavien Joubert, attended the roadshow and delivered a speech emphasizing the importance of collective action in halting biodiversity loss. He encouraged all stakeholders and the public to collaborate in safeguarding nature and restoring ecosystems. Indira Gamatsis, the Convention on Biological Diversity focal point for Seychelles, highlights the national target, which is also in line with the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, and explains the country's efforts in achieving them.
So the first group of target is focusing on halting the loss of biodiversity and put nature on the path to recovery. So focusing on designation and management of protected areas, restoration, reducing the threats from invasive species, looking at species and ecosystem recovery. The second set of target focuses on nature's benefit to people. Of course, the third one focuses on means of implementation, so focusing on building capacity, on research, data collection, resource mobilization, and of course, inclusion of different stakeholder groups in this process. All stakeholders are included in the development of the national targets and for implementation also. Another priority was to look at our national circumstances, priorities, and capabilities. When developing the targets, the means of our national capacity and funding is a must for us to consider. The national targets are also aligned with other multilateral environment agreements as well as the SDGs to ensure its implementation by 2030.
Seychelles has officially joined the World Trade Organization's Fisheries Financing Mechanism Committee, WTO Fish Fund. Seychelles was the first African nation to sign the Fisheries Subsidies Agreement in March 2023. The agreement sets out rules to reduce harmful subsidies, protect global fish stocks, and address the specific needs of fishers in developing and least developed countries. In a statement, the Department of Fisheries said Seychelles' commitment to supporting the fund's progress through an inclusive, needs-driven, and results-oriented approach. Officers of the Seychelles Fire and Rescue Services Agency, the SFRSA, on Praslin, took part in an intense fire simulation training in the field today. They were to apply the theory taught by two experts from the French Department of Security and Defense Corporation for the past 3 weeks. Also present were two observers from the French Embassy and the Minister for Internal Affairs, Errol Fonseca. The aim of the training is to improve the speed of response when there is an emergency and the method of response. They learn new skills that will help save lives and property. Lieutenant Colonel Christian Barou is from the French Department of Security and Defense Corporation.
Forest fire and bushfire are very, very complicated to manage. Why? Because the kinetic of the catastrophe is very, very, very rapid. So the team from the SFRSA did a very, very good job. Why? Because no life was lost. Everybody was saved. So it's the first very, very, very important thing. And the second thing is during the exercise, they had a very good success in managing the direction of the fire. That is to say that the fire was conducted in a safe zone, and that's very, very complicated. So it was a very good job, definitely, and all the training received during those 3 weeks was put in action, and it was very, very effective.
And with this, we come to the end of our news summary.